Hi everyone, it's Anne from Anne of Green Gardens. Welcome to my third video in my series. I am going over my back garden, which I started in fall of 2021, and I planted mostly in spring and summer of 2022, which is this year. I had a lot of fun showing it, and please excuse my fingers that came across the video screen multiple times in my videos. Sorry about that. I'm gonna try to do better with my next films that I take. And as you'll notice, it is getting closer and closer to Christmas, so I wanted to make sure to get my videos out as soon as possible, which is a little hard because my video editing skills aren't the best still. I'm a bit slow with it and technology. So bear with me, and I hope you enjoy. This is the back border that my husband and I put in starting last fall, and we decided to use a different method than we did with the first long border, which was all of this side. And we basically, I looked up a couple different ways of how to kill the grass essentially without having to just rip it out, because it's so time consuming, and then you have all of this sod that you have to figure out what to do with. And usually we took it last time for the other border to like a mulching composting place. And so what I kind of determined to do was basically, and I will show on the other border that I'm working on over here, is we basically mowed the grass as low as we could, just shear it down. And then we had collected newspaper for a long time, and ours is it's like a soy-based ink, so it's not gonna leach like gross toxic chemicals into the ground and eventually be bad for the plants and the environment. So basically opened up newspaper, laid it out at least a couple pages thick, and I try to opt for thicker if I can. And then we had ordered a bunch of compost from a local place, laid it down, tried for like 2 inches thick, covered everything. So once you lay out the newspaper, you want to pretty much wet it down with a hose because it's newspaper, so any bit of wind just wants to make it fly up. And then covered it with the compost. And then once it was, this whole border was covered, we ordered mulch, and we did another about 2 inch thick layer of mulch. And basically the point is to kill the grass and give it time. You just have to give it time. We had planted most of these shrubs in before we did any of the grass killing, just because we didn't want to have to dig into a spot. It would have gotten really messy with newspaper that was freshly laid down. So we did the big shrubs that we knew we wanted to get in there, and then just kind of had to let it work its magic to kill the grass through the winter. And it worked really well. I know there is still some intact newspaper, particularly back here. We are under this is a blue spruce tree. So it doesn't get as much like sunlight and as much moisture breaking it down. But it does work, especially for any dormant weed seeds that are in here, because when you disturb the soil, those weed seeds are just ready to jump up and grab the opportunity. So I'm back in the farthest back corner that I can get in, and I just wanted to show some of the plants that I've put back here. This, and this are all laurel plants, and they should get pretty decently sized to help with privacy. And you can see the remnants of the flowers that were here. Oh my gosh, they are the most amazing flowers. They are just so cool looking, that I would love to get more laurel. And it is a native, so it has the advantage of already being pretty well suited to the area. So I'm hoping that they do pretty well here and get nice and big. As I'm walking around, I'm seeing these like squirrel holes. I guess they're looking for nuts or looking to bury their things, but these are all over the place. Not much back here, guys. And then I had planted a few things back here a couple years ago. This is more of the aucuba that I have out front. This guy got really leggy, lost a ton of his leaves. I don't know why, especially when this guy's doing so well. This is a Pieris japonica. It has the white flowers, and that should get pretty big too. Not a native, obviously, it's from Japan, hence the japonica in its name. But it is lovely, and the flowers last for a long time. I think this is another here. He's not looking as good though, is he? And then I have a bunch of, these are some of the hellebores that my friend just gave me, and I planted them maybe about a month ago, and you can see it's getting its new growth here. So that's perfect. That means that the roots are getting established, and I'm looking around them. I don't know if that's new growth. It does, maybe. But the leaves are getting pretty chewed up. So I just have been doing a little reading, and in like maybe mid to late winter, I'm gonna actually prune all of these current stems off, and that will help. It'll open up the crown, so it helps with the new growth and any like disease reduction. Usually it has a lot to do with airflow, but she gave me maybe like 5 or 6 plants, and I tried to spread them around here. They do love shade, so ooh, that one's not looking so good. So they do need some sun to photosynthesize, but they really enjoy their shade. And then from back here, I did also put some hostas around. I don't think these are doing great. I might try to replant some. I'm not really seeing too much, unless they got eaten. This guy looks like he got eaten by something, probably a rabbit if they eat hostas. I don't know. Rabbits are so awful here. But anyway, I put in a few hydrangeas. I believe this one was an Annabelle variety, so gets nice and big with these big white flowers. Should get bigger, I believe. And then this and this over here, it's a variety. I think it has pink flowers. I don't know if it's like the strawberry fraise. Fraise just means strawberry in French, so strawberry. These flowers got just kind of brown. They didn't get that nice pink tinge that they're supposed to get, but whatever. They're still decent. And I just put these in the spring. So enough of this stuff had broken down that I could comfortably dig in and plant stuff, which is why I have all of this up here. Because I just had to give it time to kill the grass, break down the root system, kill the weeds. There were definitely weeds here. And just give me all this beautiful planting space. Along the back here, still under the tree, this is an oak leaf hydrangea. This was moved from my parents, gave it to us. And you can see the burning bush is getting its beautiful red tinge. And like I said in my other video, it is considered invasive, so we will eventually be removing these, but you can see the rest of this is not going to give us a ton of privacy yet. And then I just kind of started randomly planting stuff back here. I have a bunch of phlox. This is definitely done. Has some nice seeds on it. Maybe I'll gather those. Some more phlox there. It's kind of leggy there. This was an abelia bush. It had a twin, and the rabbits chewed that and killed that. So I moved this from somewhere else, but it actually still has some very pretty flowers on it, which my phone doesn't want to focus on. And then here I had enclosed these. These are hollyhock that I started from seed, and the rabbits were just demolishing them. So they are enclosed in this chicken wire for now. They also demolished a lot of coneflowers that I had planted back here. So at some point, maybe I'll try again and enclose them in some more chicken wire. It was pretty frustrating though. And this was some milkweed, and you can see it has its really cool looking seed heads. It gets, I think it's mostly floated off, but it gets this like kind of fuzzy looking stuff, and it's just very fluffy and funny looking, like really just unusual, but it does make it easy to spot when you're out and about, because I know what it looks like now. And this, if you don't know, milkweed is really well known for being the host plant that larval caterpillars of monarchs eat. It's the only thing they can really eat. So that's why it's so important, because if these aren't around, the monarchs are going to be gone. That's why there's such a big push to plant milkweed and save the monarchs. And like, this is one of the big ways that we can do it. Okay, and then going from the front, I'm going to hop out of here. Show what's left of my, there's a bunch of annuals that I threw in here, and mostly done. A few perennials that I've put in. This here, just the end of a sneezeweed flower, Helenium. Again, does not like to focus for me. Thanks, buddy. And I had some irises here. You can see there are a couple little guys poking up here. One of my friends noticed that the tuber, the rhizome, the hard part that like sticks out of the ground, it was squishy, and she said that it had some type of iris borer, and they just kind of eat the rhizome. So I broke it apart, threw out all of the squishy parts, and tried replanting the little bits that are left. Really hoping that it doesn't have anything else. This feels pretty good. It's really firm like a potato. And you can see this is what it should look like. And all of this part, you want to keep that exposed so that the sunlight reaches it, and that's how it grows really well. I don't think you really get flowers otherwise if it's planted too deep. And so this is the rest of the border. This is really mostly a good amount of sun. There is some shade later in the day from these trees, and earlier in the day from the blue spruce. And I have a couple of these, I forget which variety of arborvitae these are, but they're like a lighter green, and my goal is for them to eventually fill in. And for this guy, this is a dogwood, and my goal is also for that to just fill in and grow up and just, you know, create a little bit of privacy, because before it was basically nothing around. You can see it's just open grassland. This was all grass. There was nothing. It was just all grass and weeds back here. And so I have been working on adding in a bunch of natives. It basically looks like I planted a bunch of dead twigs, which is really what it did feel like. But this was intentional to plant this stuff. I don't even know. I don't remember what some of this is. I've been told, but I think what I'm gonna have to do is just see how it grows in the spring and try to identify it. And I'm trying to put these these little plant stakes as markers, because when stuff dies back, I'm not gonna see it, and I don't want to like stomp around too much on everything. I did try when I planted, if I knew what it was, I was trying to put taller stuff in the back, kind of your typical planting scheme, so you can actually see what's out there, because I have had trouble with that in the past where I didn't know how big certain things got. Even though I tried, some stuff usually gets bigger than you realize. If it says it's gonna grow to like 36 inches, which is 3 feet, I feel like it usually gets taller than that, more like 4 or 5 feet. I'm looking at you, zinnias. Zinnias, I feel like always get taller than you think. So yeah, I had a bunch of annuals here during the summer and realized how much work it was to drag the hose out. So I have replanted with natives, and I actually got a lot of things from people I found on like a Facebook group that I'm involved in. It's like a local native group, and people are super generous with dividing their plants. Usually they'll say like bring pots and a shovel if you have it, which most people would. And then they'll go out and like dig stuff up for you or with you. So that was awesome because perennials can be expensive if you're buying just from a regular garden center. This is the back corner on the other side that has this lovely mulch down of pine needles. Still loving that. Some of these trees and shrubs are not native, but that was before I kind of was really aiming for that. So this is a Jane Magnolia, as is this guy, and it gets these like beautiful pink white flowers that smell lemony and amazing, and it's not supposed to get too terribly big, so that's why I chose it for this spot. And then I went with these. I've used these plants before. I can't remember the name, but this guy stays pretty tall and skinny, and so I just wanted to start creating a hedge here. Doing okay. Sometimes these guys don't look very good. Oops. And moving back here, this is more of that light pink bee balm, the Monarda, that I had from my friend, and I have since divided it and I kind of replanted it this spring. And then I have some other things back here. This was actually milkweed. Really not much left to this. It got these aphids. I think it's maybe like specific to milkweed, but they were all over it for much of the summer. So I don't really remember getting flowers, but there was a lot of foliage, and I did see monarch caterpillars on this, but I did not ever see a chrysalis. So I'm wondering if the caterpillars probably all got eaten before they could mature into the beautiful butterflies. Yep, this is another of the oak leaf hydrangeas. This is a 9-bark. I think it's something like Little Devil, some weird name like that. Oh, and we can see this is an Autumn Magic. I think it's called Aronia. Aronia, I think, is chokeberry. So on my journey in gardening, I didn't really think about it when I bought it, but I'm gonna have to get another one to continue getting berries next time, because the berries were like already forming when I bought it. So for cross-pollination, I'll probably have to get another one. Couldn't stand up on its own, so he has this plant support for this year. And this is a red twig dogwood, a native. The rabbits chewed this down entirely last year. So this is like all new growth from this year. So once these leaves fall off, it's just going to be this really cool bright stem. And there's a way to prune it in the future, as long as the rabbits don't chew it, so that you get the bright red dogwood in the winter months. And I also just added, I'm going to jump over to here real quick. I also just added, this is a yellow twig dogwood, so super bright already. All the leaves are already gone, so I'm not sure what happened to that. Maybe stress, but just wanted to sort of complement with the yellow and the red together, because they're pretty close here. Thanks for joining me on my third video through my back garden. I hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to like and subscribe and ask me any questions you may have. And I have a couple more videos that I am hoping to get up soon. I had a lot of fun filming those. So continue to follow me for more nerdy garden videos.